Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's webinar titled Growing Your Income, How to Start a Side Hustle While Maintaining Your 9 to 5, brought to you by Union Bank and Nexford University. My name is Ogenekume Egu from the Union Bank team, and I'm honored to be moderating the session this evening. Today, we'll be talking about the various options you have for growing your income. Given the unprecedented times that we live in and the economic crunch caused by the pandemic, having an additional source of income has become necessary. Nowadays, it's not odd to hear someone say, I want to start a side hustle. But before you start one, there are several options you need to weigh. What business should I start? How will I raise the required capital? How will I effectively manage my time? And how do I make my business profitable? All these and more are what we'll be addressing here today. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speakers for today's session, who will help address our concerns around diversifying our income streams and starting a side hustle that is profitable. Our first speaker today is Ohakim. She is a lawyer and the founder of Project Baby. Also speaking to us today is Dr. Dipo Awojide. He is a senior lecturer at Nottingham Business School and is also the founder of the BTDT Hub. Just before I hand over to our speakers, a bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions during the session, please click on the Q&A tab and type in your questions. We will have a question and answer segment right after the presentation to attend to all of them. Now I'll be handing over to Ohakim, who will be speaking to us on diversifying your income stream. Over to you, Obi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much to Union Bank and Nexford. And huge thanks to Dr. Dipo actually for agreeing to speak beside me. I will be speaking on diversifying your income stream. We've basically just put out a few highlights. I have 20 minutes, so I'm going to be quite fast. I'm kind of hoping this will be recorded so you can go through it subsequently, and the slides are up for you to kind of go through along as we go. So first of all, what does it mean to diversify your income stream, and why is it important to have a side hustle? Creating different streams of income is basically important. And that's what diversifying your income stream means. Creating different streams of income so that you can have financial options. Now, by these, we mean not just your earned income. I assume a lot of people signed up to the webinar are career professionals. So we mean just not your salary, you know, the money you get at the end of the month. We mean looking at other ways to make money, like your aside from your earned income, business income from setting up a business, a side hustle, interest income from maybe fixed funds, dividend income from stocks or mutual funds, rental income from renting out assets that you own, capital gains, royalties, or licensing. For instance, I will use myself as an example. Aside from my earned income, I earn from my business, which is Project Baby Nigeria. I also earn from interest from fixed funds. I earn from my influencer job on the internet, which is as a result of the brand I've built from my business. I earn from dividends and from rental. So those are 5 different streams of income, or 4 different streams of income aside from my salary that I earn. Now, diversifying your income stream creates a financial safety net. For instance, during the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of businesses haven't even been able to function for several months. Now, in situations where families or individuals relied on one source of income, they unfortunately will find themselves in very critical situations at the moment. But in a situation where you have managed to, out of your salary, create another stream of income, you would find that you won't be in such a fix at this time. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you have a job, why do you need a business? The funny thing is career professionals are actually in a better position to start a side hustle or another business, because you have what I would say is a steady source of income that you can make plans from, that you can actually decide to set aside money from, unlike other people. So if you're a career professional, you're actually in a good position to actually decide to start a business. You just have to be very strategic and intentional about it. Now, the next slide, strategies for diversifying your income stream and protecting finance. Now, in today's economy, protecting your finance is more than having a job. I mean, maybe 20, 40 years ago, having a cushy job in the financial industry or in the oil and gas industry was fine, you know, as your retirement plan. But these days, unfortunately, it's not enough as your financial plan. It's not enough to protect your financial interest. It's important to try to create other ways to make money from the money that you're making. So 6 strategies for diversifying your income stream by starting a side business. First of all, I think of ways you can capitalize on what you're already doing as a career professional or in the field that you're in. For instance, the first business I started as a lawyer was providing legal services, which I still do, is providing legal services to small scale businesses and intergovernmental transactions, getting involved in intergovernmental transactions as a consultant. And this is because I am in the profession as a lawyer. So I'm basically using my expertise to provide services outside of my 9-to-5 job. So it's important to think you can capitalize on what you're already doing, but don't be afraid to think outside the box. Subsequently, I've moved into education and early years education, early years learning. This is completely outside the law, but it's also something I'm very passionate about, and I have earned certification and degrees on that I now capitalize on to make money from. Focus on creating unbelievable value. Once you provide value, people will come to you, trust me. Customers, clients, so long as you're giving out value, whether you're popular or not. I remember when I started my business, someone actually said to me that it's because you're popular, that's why people are patronizing you. I'm like, no, that's not true. If I started selling water, I don't think people will patronize me. It's because I'm giving out value on something that I know, something that I'm living, something that I am breathing and showing. So it's easy for people to come to you, to be attracted to you, to believe in your brand and in your business. Unbelievable value. Also, take your business to the digital space. If you have a 9-to-5 job, the easiest way for you to make money is online, because you may not have the time to be in 2 places at one time. Again, when I started my business, one of the first things everyone used to say is, oh, where's your store? Where's your shop? Where are you located at? And I ran to my husband. I was like, look, I need to open shop. Everybody's asking me where my shop is. And he was like, that doesn't even make any sense. If you run and open a store, you're not going to be there half the time. You're going to be accruing rent costs. You're going to have all these agencies looking for you to pay one bill or the other. You're going to have staff physically there, take accounting every month. Why don't you focus on distribution channels and stockists throughout the country and throughout the continent? And that was what I eventually built my business model on. So I'm in the office, but stockists throughout the nation and throughout the continent are selling our products, you know, and when it's online, then we have a warehouse where our dispatch partner picks up from and delivers throughout the states. So think of business that you can take your business to the digital space. Basically, try not to focus on only a brick and mortar. Brick and mortar stores are fine, but try to also focus on taking advantage of the digital space. Leverage on your expertise to build digital products business. I think this is a fantastic strategy because these days people are more than willing to pay for knowledge. Ebooks, courses, e-seminars, webinars, everything. People are willing to pay for this. So try to leverage your expertise to build digital products. I'm working on an ebook actually, and I know that it's one of the ways that people are making a lot of money, capitalizing and monetizing their knowledge. Also try your hand at consulting. I feel like as a career professional, you have the expertise necessary to actually consult in your field. If you work in, say, PwC, offer consultancy services for small businesses for their accounting. If you work in a bank, offer consultancy services for banking related services to small businesses. If you work as a lawyer, offer consultancy services in your field of expertise. It's an easy way to make money. You just have to look for clients and be willing to put in the work. And look at untapped resources and opportunities in your industry. For instance, a few years ago, entertainment law was not a big deal. Now it's huge in Nigeria. You know, legal services for SMEs, legal services for trademarks, copyrights, template agreements, providing legal services online. Those are untapped opportunities. Find untapped opportunities in your own particular industry. Now, the third slide, practical tips for effectively running your business alongside your job. First of all, dedicate your evenings and your weekends to your business. I'm going to stop saying side hustle. Dedicate your evenings and your weekends to your business. I know it's easy to say, oh, I have this to do, I have that to do, but if you actually want to run a successful business while also thriving as a career professional, you need to be willing to put in the time. I don't see any of my friends or anyone Mondays to Fridays, except maybe a Friday evening. I would go out Saturday, but anything during the work week, I dedicate 100% to my job and running my business after work and family responsibilities. So it's one of the things you need to sacrifice, your time and your effort. You're going to have to decide to sacrifice that to run your business alongside your job. Create a structure early on, no matter how small your business is. It's important to set down structures and create a way that things will be able to run in your absence, at least while you're at your job. The more diverse your income stream, the more there is to manage. So basically, it's important to stay very organized. Have a system in place that works to keep track of your tasks, your events, your deadlines, your budgets, your expenses. Design templates for records for everything, for your budget, for expenditure, targets, SOPs, standard operating procedures, KPIs, basically just how you function as a professional. Translate that organization into your business, and you will find that things will be a lot smoother for you. Your operations will be smoother. Now, make sure you have the right automated tools and apps in place to manage revenue streams. Personally, I use tools like Google Calendar. I use Planoly. If you look at my business page, we have over 30 posts a week or 35 posts a week. Now, I'm working 9 to 5. I don't have time to be posting anything, but on Sundays, I plan all of our social media posts and they automatically go out throughout the week. You would think that I will be in meetings and my business page is just posting out things online. So it's important to try to schedule things to work for you even while you're at your job. Use QuickBooks to organize your income, process payments, and categorize your invoices. You can use apps like Expensify to record and monitor your business expenses automatically on your phone anywhere you are. You can use an app. You can use Flutterwave to accept payments online if your business is too small to spend a lot of money on building a huge website. Also get a system in income that you're bringing into your business. It's important to know whether or not you're running a profitable business or it's just a hobby. The more organized you are, the more easy it is to manage multiple streams of income, and the more you can actually diversify your income as a result. And it's important to partner with other small businesses. Coming from the space of a professional, it's easy to look at things as, oh, me, like in the office where you're trying to get a promotion and it's all about your personal performance. But in the business space, collaboration is actually very, very important, especially if you're doing other things. I've partnered with several small businesses to scale up. I've partnered with a dispatch company that does almost everything that surrounds running our business. So just try to find businesses that you can also collaborate with. The role of education and personal finance. A large part of what we as individuals know about our money habits or our finance habits are things that we've learned growing up. So over the years, but with a changing economy, you find that over the years, there are a lot of things to learn and to unlearn, a lot of things to know better about. For instance, in those days growing up, you would hear a lot about stocks and shares as what was like the core investment. But these days, you can even buy more than local stocks. You even know to invest in other things apart from shares at the moment. So it's important to actually learn and unlearn certain things because of the changing economy. Financial education is a necessity, not just for investors, but for anyone who wants to get ahead in their career goals and in their business. The first step is to understand your own financial situation. How do I budget? How do I get back on track if I fall out of my budget? Where does my money come from? What are my expenses? How can I cut back on my expenses? What can I cut back on? How can I save? Is my salary enough to set up a business? Is my salary enough to raise capital to set up a business? Now, a few mistakes that career professionals actually make in setting up their business: doing only what you love. Now, everyone says, oh, do what you're passionate about, but you can't only do what you love. You have to do what people are willing to pay you for and what you're good at. I love snuggling children, but I don't think anyone will pay me to just come to their house and snuggle their children. So you actually have to find something that you're good at and something that people would pay you for. I love juggling, but I'm not very good at it. So no one is going to pay me to be a professional clown. It's important to find what you're good at and what people are going to pay you for, not just what you're passionate about. Stop holding on to the idea of a side hustle. Unfortunately, for a lot of us career professionals, we always look at our career as the main thing. You know, your 9 to 5 is like your main thing, and then the other one is like your side hustle. You're not going to have the mindset to scale up if you keep looking at it as a side hustle. It's always just going to be like this little pet project for you where you just make some few monies on the side. So start looking at it as an actual business, not just as a side hustle. Another mistake career professional makes is starting a business without an entity. So for instance, you just start a business, people start paying into your personal account, you don't register your business at CAC, you don't set up a corporate account. Unfortunately, you're just going to keep eating all of your money from your business. You're not going to be able to track your revenue, your income, your profit, your loss. It's important to start up your business, your side hustle, as a proper entity. Also, having high overhead costs is a huge mistake that career professionals make when they're starting businesses, because you usually have your salary, you know, you have something where you're getting money from. So you start making all this high overhead costs in starting or in running your business. It's something you need to be very careful about. Also, inability to delegate and outsource. It's something you need to actually really, really learn. If you're going to be at your job and you're going to be running your business, you must learn to delegate. You must learn to outsource things. You cannot try to do everything by yourself. Something is going to suffer. It's either your job, your duties at the office is going to suffer, or your business. So try to learn how to delegate and outsource, and also focus on collaboration and not just competition. How do I raise money to start my business? First of all, put your money where your mouth is. Your savings, your earnings, save from your earnings, save from your salary. Talk to friends and family. You can also try to find a partner who has cash. I don't mean partner as in spouse or husband. I mean partner, someone else who's interested in the business, or who's willing to partner with you to donate capital to start the business. You can also consider angel investors. Apply for SME grants or loans from banks, and you can try to get advance funding from customers, or try crowdfunding. So that's raising money through a large number of people. Very important. Do I quit my job now? When does side hustle become the main hustle? Now, quitting your current job and facing your side hustle full time may seem like the right thing to do. People will always tell you, oh, scale up. Go and face your business, leave, stop working for other people. You are doing other people's dreams. It sounds all well and good. Trust me, the first year of business we made the most money till date, because then all your friends, all your families, everybody that knows you is trying to patronize your business. You know, business is booming. After the first year, some people are like, oh my God, you made that much from your business. Quit your job. What are you still doing there? It might not be the best thing to do. Just keep safe and grow your business as profitable as you can while you're still employed. At some point, yes, enough will be enough and it will be safe to quit your job. But you need to know that you are ready to scale up and you are ready to put in the time and the work it takes to completely depend on your business as your source of income, as your main source of income, because you then quit your job. So, or maybe when you feel like certain roles cannot be delegated and you need to be at your business full time, then you can consider quitting your job. But don't be in a haste because of what people are saying to just jump and quit your job. I think what you should do is to think about what needs to be, set certain parameters for yourself, what needs to be done before you can decide to leave your job for your business. So if, for instance, your parameter is, if I can make 100 million naira every year, then I can quit my job. If I can conveniently have 200 serious clients or customers every year, then I can conveniently quit my job. Just make sure you set those parameters and easily beat those parameters before you can decide that, okay, good, it's safe to quit my job. Don't just hurry out of your job and go to your business, because a lot of things can happen. Create your own timeline for getting those things in place and create accountability for yourself. So I think my 20 minutes is up.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Obi. That was a very informative piece. I've learned a lot. So thank you so much. That was informative.
Thank
you.
So 20 minutes, right?
Yeah. So before our next speaker comes on board, I'll be inviting my colleague Jemima from our payroll team to speak briefly to us on our tailored value-added services that will help you support your side hustle and time management. Over to you, Jemima.
Thank you, Kume, and thank you once again, Obi, for that lovely presentation. And thank you, everyone, for joining in. So like she said, as a salary earner, you really need to understand how to manage your time. And okay, if you really do not have the savings to start a side hustle, what can you fall back on? We have loans for you. So we understand that it's very important for you to carry out your transactions seamlessly. We make sure our digital platforms are up 24/7 to help you meet you at that point of need. Like she said, you really need to save to start your side hustle. So we have a financial planning seminar that is totally free. We teach you how to save, how to put aside money from your salary. Yes, I understand we earn monthly, but it's really hard. The expenses keep coming up, but we'll teach you how to save. And not just save, where should I put this money? Where can I earn high interest on my savings? We do that for you totally free. I understand that after this webinar, some of us want to start a side hustle. You really want to understand the nitty-gritties of starting a side hustle, and you want to take a master's or take an online course. In partnership with Nexford, as a Union Bank customer, you get discounts on this. Yes, definitely after as salary earners, you'd retire. And what's the next plan? Salary has stopped coming in. What should I do? We have retirement planning seminars for you. Aside waiting for your pension, what can you do? We got you covered. If you're a Union Bank customer, you get to learn this from us. Like she said, loans. Yes, there's a place for loans. We have loans for our customers. We have an alpha proposition that speaks to loans for all women. Yes, it's a proposition for all women, but this webinar is for women that really want to start a side hustle, and both males. So we have loans. If you're interested in starting a side hustle, we have loans for you. You get to enjoy 5% discount on loans you take. You also enjoy our non-collateralized cash flow loans. And aside that, go ahead and provide seasoned women professionals for you. They train you and coach you on majorly your career and other things. We are a gender balanced bank. We have both loans for male and female. We have our payroll loans, our personal loans, our mortgage loans, our payday and pay advance loans. You get to enjoy the means up to 15 million naira. So like she said, if you really want to have a side hustle that has a physical presence, you can leverage on our mortgage loans that have rates as low as 17%. If you want to know more about this, you can drop your questions in the Q&A sessions and we would answer them. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you, Jemima. Thank you. You've heard all the amazing services you get to enjoy when you maintain your salary account with Union Bank. If you are currently a customer with us and you never heard of these services, now you know. If you don't have an account with us, open one at the end of this session and you enjoy all these amazing services and much more. Right now, I'll be handing over to Dr. Dipo, who will be speaking to us on strategies to start your business while maintaining your 9-to-5. Over to you, Dr. Dipo.
Okay, thank you very much. Very fantastic job that Obi has done in the last 20-25 minutes. I am going to be building on Obi's presentation, and I'll basically use myself as a practical example. In 2015, I got a job as a lecturer at Nottingham, Trent University, a full-time job. Almost, at about the same time, I started BTDT Hub. So at the end of my PhD, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go into academia full-time or if I wanted to get a consulting job as a strategist in London, or if I wanted to, start a small business, because I discovered that my purpose in life was, basically God has created me to solve African problems. But at that time, I didn't have enough money to pursue my dreams. I didn't have enough money, to actually do what I indeed wanted to do. So what did I do? I took on the lecturing job and, started BTDT up on the side. So as, BTDT grew, I, went part-time. I took a salary cut, a pay cut at my lecturing job. And that gave me, a bit of time to focus on BTDT Hub. So I'll share with you, some of the things that has worked for me, which Obi has also touched upon, like delegating, like outsourcing some of the processes, and basically, share points on what you need to focus on if you want to start your business. So starting off your business, you need to actually clarify, what exactly is it that you want to do? So what is the purpose? Why do you want to start that business? Do you want to solve societal problems? Do you want to create value? Do you want to build wealth? Do you want to create jobs for people? What exactly is the purpose for starting that business? And business is war, and in war, the goal is to win. So your mindset has to be the mindset of a winner. Your mindset has to be the mindset of a champion. You are not if you are not running an NGO or a social enterprise, you definitely want to win. And winning is getting the largest market share as possible. Winning is making, as much profit and building as much wealth, or, solving as much societal problems as possible, that you set out to achieve. So in the next 20 minutes, I'll touch on, creating value proposition, understanding the customer, understanding the competitors, and basically, understanding the industry. So yeah, starting off, you basically, as I said earlier, need to clarify why exactly do you want to go into this business. So this is your why. And there are loads of business ideas. I've shared several business ideas on Instagram, on Twitter for young Nigerians. Freelance graphic designing, freelance website development, digital marketing and digital influencing, home tutoring, resume writing, footwear production, perfume and fragrance retailing, private chef, small chops vendor. There are loads of people who actually sell, small chops on Twitter and on Instagram. Event planning, parties, weddings, birthdays, baby showers, all those sort of things. Children's daycare, home laundry. These are, examples of the sort of business ideas that you can consider. So starting off is actually understanding, this business area that you actually want to go into. Okay, so you need to basically clarify, once you've decided what business or service, product or service you actually want to sell or get involved with, you need to clarify what is your unique, value proposition. So basically, what are you going to offer the customer? Obi spoke earlier about, creating value. You definitely need to propose something to the customers for them to actually come to you. So yeah, it is important, first of all, to understand who your customers are. So you actually need to carry out a customer profiling. So who are your customers? Where are they based? How much can they pay for your product or your services? How much is their disposable income on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis? Okay, for you to make profits in business and for you to actually create excellent value, you need to understand who the customers are, where the customers are, and how much they are willing to pay for your product or for your service. So customer profiling is, very, very important. So it is important to understand your customers because, ultimately, the customers make the purchasing decision. You will definitely have competitors within the industry. You might definitely have other issues that you need to pay attention to in the industry, but understanding the customers is very, very critical. So the key point here is that, competitive analysis is important in strategy, but ultimately it is the customers who make the purchasing decision. And beyond customer profiling, you actually need to engage in what I call market segmentation. So you need to, basically segment the market. So a market segment is a group of customers who, basically have similar needs. So these customers earn perhaps the same amount of money, and these customers actually need, similar products or similar services, either on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, or on a monthly basis. So you need to be able to segment your market. I'll give an example. For folks who run, a gym or a fitness company in Lagos or Abuja or any of the popular, cities in Nigeria, you could actually, consider different market segments. One for men, one for women, one for upwardly mobile professionals, young for, retirees. You could consider another market segment for women who have just given birth, who might not feel comfortable, in a crowded gym or fitness center, so to say. So these are examples of different market segments. So you can segment a market based on age. You can segment a market based on race, based on ethnicity, based on gender, based on location, geographical location, and of course, based on other factors. So once you've actually carried out this market segmentation, you now need to evaluate each of the segments and position yourself within one, two, or several other segments. Because for small businesses, you might not have a lot of money to actually compete, in different market segments. So as I said, when I started BTDT Hub, I didn't have a lot of money. I basically was taking money from my lecturing job and using to invest in BTDT Hub. When I started, I was the guy who was in charge of, I was basically the brand manager, I was the accountant, I was basically doing everything. But as the business grew, I basically got more people on board to actually help run the business. So yeah, understand the market segment. If you haven't got so much money, focus on just one market segment or two market segments so you don't spread yourself thin. If you have so much resources, so much money, then you can actually consider, different market segments. So the main goal of actually understanding the customer and carrying out a market segmentation is basically understand the attractive market segments. Some segments are more profitable or more attractive than the other. And you don't want to be a busy fool. You don't want to just walk and just basically competing everywhere. You want to understand the market segment that is attractive. You want to understand the market segment that is profitable, and you want to understand the market segment that is currently unoccupied, because you don't want to compete with so many people. You want to create your own market space and compete in that market. Okay, so for those of you who actually play games, I'll use an example of Sony and Microsoft. Sony came up with PS2, PS3, the PlayStation, and Microsoft actually came up with Xbox, 360 console. And, in 2008, Nintendo was like the underdog within the industry. And, Nintendo actually carried out a market segmentation. They understood the market excellently, and they came up with Nintendo Wii. And because they came up with Nintendo Wii, it was a family game, game console. It was a game that people could play together. It was a game that you could play together before going out on a Friday evening. They actually captured the market. So they got around 68.8% of the market share. Okay, because they carried out a market segment, a market segmentation and focused on an underserved market. So instead of just, football games or arcade, fighting and all those bloody games, they came up with something that women could play. They came up with something that moms and dads and families, cousins, everyone could play together. And ultimately, they were able to win a huge, percentage of the market share. Of course, Sony and Microsoft actually came back stronger because they do have very deep pockets. Okay, so beyond understanding the customers, it is also important that that you understand your competitors, because if you don't understand your competitors, some of your competitors might actually be very aggressive, and they can run you out of the market, out of business, within a very short time. So it is important to carry out a competitor analysis or a competitor profiling. So you basically need to know, for you to make profit, you need to create value for the customers, but it is also important that you understand, who exactly the competitors are. So I'll give an example. So for competitors, you basically need to pay attention to your direct and your indirect competitors. Mercedes-Benz, Audi, BMW are direct competitors. Honda, Toyota, and maybe Nissan, for people like us, are direct competitors. These companies all compete in the automotive industry, but the first group and the second group are in different segments. So they are more or less, indirect competitors. In the Nigerian banking space, Union Bank, UBA, Zenith Bank, Access Bank, First Bank, they are more or less, direct competitors because they compete on similar basis. There are some other, smaller players within the banking industry who are more or less indirect competitors to banks like Union Bank and First Bank and all the other banks I mentioned earlier. So it is important that you understand who your direct competitors are and who your indirect competitors are. And the competitors you actually want to focus on a bit more are those who, more or less offer, direct threats to your business. Okay, because you want to survive, you want to grow, you need to pay attention to your most direct competitors within the industry. So beyond, carrying out a competitor analysis, you might want to consider carrying out a SWOT analysis. So your SWOT analysis, you're looking at your strengths, your weaknesses, which are internal to you and internal to your business, and carrying out, an understanding of the external environment, which comprises opportunities and threats. So there are lots of factors on here that you might actually want to pay attention to. So your core strengths, your market dominance. So for BTDT, for example, I know what our core strengths and our core weaknesses are. We have a good understanding of the opportunities and the threats in the external environment. And we basically play, based on our SWOT analysis. I mean, with COVID-19, it's now so evident that you cannot have a full picture of a SWOT analysis or, of what your competitors might do in the future. But this, SWOT analysis basically helps in guiding you and helps in crafting a winning strategy. So beyond your customers and beyond competitors, you also need to understand the industry. So what are the core factors at play within the industry? What is changing? What is going to happen in the industry in the next 5 years? What is the future of the industry? Okay, so it is important that you carry out, an analysis of the industry as well. And of course, I'm sure some of you might be familiar with the concept of industry life cycle or the product life cycle. So certain industries are at the introductory stage, some are at the growth stage, some are at the maturity stage, and others are at the decline stage. The smartphone industry currently is at the decline stage, but the competitors are actually trying to, extend that industry by offering, better products, more innovative products. I mean, I don't know what next they are going to come up with. Maybe iPhone 12 or iPhone 13 is going to be a flying phone. No one knows what is going to happen. But ultimately, you need to understand your industry and compete based on the phase of the industry. If you are at the introductory phase, you compete on different bases. If you are at the growth stage, if the industry is at the maturity stage, you also compete, based on different, based on different parameters. Okay, so if you want to hold down a 9-to-5 job and also, run a side hustle or, run a small business on the side, as all been noted earlier, you must delegate, you must try to, outsource, and you must also try to, collaborate with other people. I'll quickly touch on, the importance of marketing, advertising, and branding. It is very, very important that you basically, know how to market your site also, know how to market yourself, know how to sell your business. So you basically need to go to your customers where they are. Where are the customers now? The customers are on social media. The customers are watching Big Brother Nigeria. I mean, with all the issues in Nigeria, with all the, everything going on in Nigeria, Big Brother Nigeria in the last 4 weeks has actually been trending on a daily basis. It's either Erica is trying to kiss Lekon, or Lekon is saying something about Erica, or Kid Wire is saying something about, Tolani Badge, and those of us who don't even watch these things, we are forced to pay attention and read these tweets. Because how many of your friends are you going to mute, or how many keywords are you going to mute? So the customers are online. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Telegram, YouTube, all of these are different platforms where you can market and advertise your product or your services. I mean, the audience on Twitter and on Instagram are quite different from the audience on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So you basically need to understand the audience on each platform, and craft your branding message, your brand elements, your brand tone, the messages you post on a daily basis. Everything actually, they have to come together, to present to you as a credible brand. And what is even more important is word of mouth from a satisfied customer. So I say to my people, irrespective of what we say to ourselves, irrespective of what we say on our website and on our Twitter page or our Instagram page, what other people say about us is very, very critical. What our customers, satisfied customers, what they actually say about us is very, very critical. So please, if you want to start a side hustle, which might become your main hustle, you need to pay attention to your customers and what they say about you online. So branding, your website, I say to people, your Twitter name, your Instagram name, they need to be the same thing. Your Facebook name, so if my name on Twitter is Dipo, on Instagram is another name, on another platform it's another name, it becomes very difficult for customers or for folks in my community, to actually know, ultimately know who exactly I am on different platforms. So I say to you, pay attention to branding, pay attention to your name, pay attention to the message you share, on a daily basis. Marketing is also very, very important. I'm not going to touch on that. You can actually, just go through the slide at the end of this session. What is even more important, and this is, the last point, you have to think about how to gain a competitive advantage. So gaining a competitive advantage is different from sustaining a competitive advantage. Nokia, BlackBerry, Blockbuster, these companies had a competitive advantage, but it was not sustainable. So you basically need to think about how to gain a competitive advantage. Are you going to sell at a cheaper price? Are you going to distinguish yourself from your competitors? Are you going to be a premium brand? You actually need to pay attention to all of this. And in crafting a competitive advantage, in gaining a competitive advantage, you need to come up with a business strategy. So what is your present situation? Where do you want to go from here? And basically, where do you want to be in the next 5 or 10 years? There's a lot more that I can touch on, but because of our time, I just like to end by saying, you can actually recruit people. So BTDT Hub, we have a chief operating officer that was Tuni, now Oluwatayo. We have Bosun, Odun, Ajibayo. All these people actually lead a team of 40 people. Okay, so I have a part-time job as a lecturer. And I also have a side hustle, that earns, millions of naira on a monthly basis. We pay salaries, we pay our taxes, and we ultimately, are trying to grow our business. And this might become my full-time business in 2021, or my full-time, job, or also in 2021. So reinforce excellence in your team, build an excellent work culture, encourage open communication and trust among your team, give formal and informal feedback, and share the success with your team. Time constraints, so I'm going to have to stop. Thank you very much, Nexford and Union Bank.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Dipo. I'm sure our audience was able to learn a lot about growing their income and starting a side hustle while maintaining their 9 to 5. As I mentioned earlier, today's webinar is brought to you by Union Bank and Nexford University. So before we go into the question and answer session, just a quick reminder, if you have questions, please drop them in the Q&A tab, and we'll attend to them right after this. I would like to introduce our partner, Sally Okogo. She is the Regional Communications Officer at Nexford University, and she wants to just speak briefly about what Nexford does. Over to you, Sally.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So just before the question and answers come up, I'll just quickly like to introduce you to Nexford University. For those who have not heard about us, we're a next generation American university based in Washington, DC. We're 100% online. We offer degree and postgraduate programs, both the BBA and the MBA program. Our courses are workplace aligned. It's globally affordable. We currently have learners from over 50 countries and counting. We offer personalized support. So when you're thinking about working 9 to 5 and building a side hustle, well, if you can also think about working and upskilling yourself. We all understand that in this times, we all really need to upskill. We need to, the pandemic has shown us that we need to develop new skills to cope in the digital world that we find ourselves. And Nexford is there to equip you. We've got courses and certificates available if you don't want to take a full degree with us. So for more information, just visit our website, www.nexford.org, for more information. And for those who are Union Bank customers and staff of Union Bank, we have a discount for Union Bank, solely for Union Bank customers. So please reach out to us on any of these channels to find out more about what Nexford has to offer. So over to you, Kome, so we can take the question and answer from our very able panelists. Thank you so much, Dipo and Obi.
Thank you, Sally. So there are quite a number of questions we already have. We'll be taking these questions now, but just before we dive in, there is a poll currently showing on your screen. Please participate. We'd like to know your preferences. Thank you very much. So I'm going to target the first question at Obi. Can I still partner with someone if I want to retain sole ownership of my business?
Absolutely. Sorry, just a minute. Absolutely, yes, you can. You can have a partner who's only willing to participate to the extent of contributions and earning profits. You don't have to assign ownership or part ownership to every partner. It depends on the nature of the agreement between both parties. The most important thing is that both parties get into it knowing what is the value you are bringing in and what are you taking out. So it's not necessary that you have to give equity. You just have to make sure that whatever you're agreeing on is in writing and both parties completely understand the nature of what they're bringing in and what they're taking out.
Okay, thank you so much, Obi. This next question is also for you. Great presentation, Obi. I'm a 9-to-5 professional who is about to embark on my business. You mentioned that we need to register our businesses. From your experience, are there any legal implications in the 9-to-5 life if you start your own business on the side?
Now, I wouldn't say there are any legal implications, maybe regulatory, depending on where your 9-to-5 is, what the nature of your job is. It will be important for you actually to find out if there are any restrictions, especially on the nature of the business that you plan on embarking on. Personally, I remember when I started my, one of the main reasons why my business in early years education is more forefront for me is because there were a lot or a couple of conflict of interest engagements when I started providing legal service, nature of the job that I do. So it was important for me to actually scale back on that because there were a lot of clients that I couldn't take on because of the nature of the job that I do. So it's important for you to make sure that there are no conflict of interest arising and whatever regulatory policies cover your job, you're not actually going against any of those before you set up your business.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to direct this next question to Dipo. This participant is asking for some advice. So he's asking that he wants to start a data and airtime selling business. So his question is, how does he do market segmentation? What advice can you give to him?
Okay, so yeah, ultimately he needs to, think about, so where exactly does he live? First of all, where does he live? Is that sort of business that is the business a sort of business that he needs to have a stand or have like a small kiosk, in the area, maybe in Ikeja or Lekki or wherever it is that he lives, where he can actually get across to people who live within that area. But what is more important is, for that sort of business, you might consider going online. So if he goes on Twitter, on Instagram, and creates an excellent brand, you can actually target people who are just coming out from university or people who are working class people. So these are different market segments, okay? And, if you go online, you might not even necessarily need to, you could just say from between the ages of 18 to 40 or 45 or even 50 as the case may be. and target these people online, distinguish yourself, brand yourself online on Twitter, on Instagram, and these two platforms, I believe is an easy avenue for you to actually, promote this sort of business. I patronize a lot of, people who sell credit and data because we do a lot of giveaways, on a weekly basis and on a monthly basis. So I actually use people who make my life easy. I use people who, basically understand that, they just need to be available whenever we need them, and people who are also trustworthy. So you can actually, go online and target people who are just coming out from university or people who have, decent jobs on social media.
Okay, thank you, Dipo. This next question, either Obi or Dipo can answer. The startup stage of a business is very delicate. You spoke about delegating. At what points can I hand over the daily running of my business to someone else?
Yeah, so I'm happy to take that question. So I said earlier, when BTDT Up started, I was in charge of branding, marketing, posting on social media. I was the accountant. I basically was everything. I was running the business myself. But after a while, I got a few people to actually join the business. So 5 or 6 people. Then subsequently, we grew to 20 people. Now we are like 40 or 43 people. So, you need to basically do the groundwork. As the founder of the business, you need to do the groundwork. You need to set everything in motion. Then you can actually invite people into the business. And the people you invite into the business have to be people who are committed, people who are dedicated, people who are not just in it for money, okay? People who would help you to grow, okay? But you actually need to put some things in place before you come up with a structure. So Obi spoke about structures earlier. It is important to have those structures in place, delegate to those people, but you need to be sure that the people you are bringing on board are people who can be reliable, are people who are going to get the job done.
Thank you, Dr. Dipo. Okay, so this next question I'm going to direct at Jemima. So the question is, how long do I have to have an account with Union Bank before I can access a loan?
Okay, so to access a loan in Union Bank, you just need to have a 1-month relationship with us, and then we can then profile you for a loan. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Jemima.
Thank you.
Courses. Okay, so I'm going to direct this next question at Obi. What is the first step I should take to register my business? I've avoided this because I think it's a stressful process. What do you advise?
First of all, I would say if you're not a lawyer, get a lawyer. The CAC has actually made this very, very convenient for people. You can do it online yourself, especially if it's just a business name. But I would suggest you get a lawyer, because how you register your business as a legal entity to registering your business as a business name. Also need to know, are you a social entrepreneur? Do you need to register it under Part C? So I would say it's important to either get a lawyer friend if you're a small business, someone who won't charge you like an expensive lawyer would. But it's important to actually know the type of legal entity you're setting up. And I would encourage you to actually do it, because you're robbing yourself of a lot of opportunities. Aside from the fact that your business will be able to pay tax, you would also be able to apply for grants, for investors, for loans. It might sound stressful, but it's absolutely worth it. Trust me. Registering your business as a legal entity is absolutely worth it.
Thank you, Obi. Good presentation, Dr. Dipo. I have been your follower on all your online platforms. My question here, how can someone identify and recruit the perfect and committed employees to his side hustle?
Yes, so that's a very good question. So for me, You know, I don't really care, you know, if you have a first class or a 2-1. I don't know the degree classification of the people who, you know, majority of the people who work for BTDT. What I look out for is young people who are hungry for, you know, people who basically just want to get the job done. So I look out for people who are dedicated. Okay, can they do the job? Point number one, can they do the job? Point number two, you know, are they going to be dedicated? Are they going to be committed to the business? For me, you know, this is actually what I look out for. If they can do the job, I give them an opportunity. You know, if they are not dedicated, if they get on board and, you know, they are not, maybe there's a period where they are feeling low or not as committed, I try to find out what exactly is wrong. Can I support them? Can I help them? Occasionally I do. You know, sometimes you need to let people go as well. So we've had to fire a couple of people because of cultural misfits, you know, because, you know, their job was not up to standard, you know, after multiple corrections and multiple, you know, trying to bring them up to speed. But ultimately, it's, you know, getting people who, you know, can do the job and people who are going to be dedicated. For me, those are the most important points.
Thank you, Dr. Dipo. So I'll be directing this next question to Sally. Sally, are you up now?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. What is the difference between AAS and BBA? Please explain the requirements for applying, because I did not understand that section when I went through your website.
Okay, thank you. So Nexford is an American university, so our programs are based on the American curriculum of education. The AAS program is like a diploma that you get. Is a two-year program. Is an 18-month program basically with Nexford. If you're doing it with Nexford, is an 18-month program that gives you the associate of business degree. You haven't fully earned a business degree, but you have like a diploma to show that you've done business courses. And then the BBA program is the full business degree. You've done a full undergraduate program in business, and that's for 36 months. For our requirements, basically what we need you to have, if you're applying for the AAS or BBA, you need to have your high school diploma. That's like your WAEC or NECO or GCE results. And then we would need you to take a free FSET test, an English test, just to be sure to be comfortable with your level of English and be sure you can actually take our courses. So that's basically our requirement. Just send in your credentials to admissions@nexford.org. If we require any further information, you also need to have a government issued ID card, say like a national driver's license, an international passport, or something government issued that identifies you. So these are the three things you need to apply to Nexford. You can always send us a mail, admissions@nexford.org or nigeria@nexford.org, since you're in Nigeria, and our Nigerian team will be ready to attend to you.
Thank you so much, Sally. I'll be directing this question to either Obi or Dr. Dipo. For a while now, I've been trying to start a fruit salad business, which would enable me directly supply my customers while I juggle my 9 to 5. I'm currently working from home. I'm kind of skeptical on starting because I don't really know when we would resume physically in the office. Now my question, is it advisable to start it now, or should I let it slide and start later?
Can I take this first?
Yes, you can.
The most important thing is for you to ask yourself if you have the time to do the business when you go back to work. If you feel like you have the time to still run the business when you go back to work, I think now is a fantastic time to actually start, because you obviously or possibly have more time on your hands now, you know, so it's probably better for you to start now and see if it is, 1, profitable, 2, if it's something you actually enjoy doing every day, and 3, if it's something you can actually continue doing when you go back to work. But make sure that you actually structure it in a way that you are not looking at it as your only business. You remember, okay, at a point in time, I'm going to go back to working from the office. So try not to structure it just as your full-time gig. If not, it's going to destabilize you when you actually go back to working from the office. But I think now would be a good time to start.
Okay, thank you so much, Obi. Either of you can still answer this question, either you or Dr. Dipo. My business is not an online business. How do I go about taking my business online?
Yeah, so I mean, this is, you basically need to start off by creating a Twitter account for starters. Create a Twitter account and create a LinkedIn account. I mean, couple of years ago, 2012, 2013, even up to 2015, I was still doing kindly follow back on Twitter, kindly follow back, and now I have, around 650,000 followers on Twitter. Our business has around 120 or 130,000 followers. So you need to just start, just create an account and make sure you have a schedule of posts on a daily basis. Monday motivation on Monday, on Tuesday look for something to post, Wednesday motivation, Friday TGIF, in between the days, fill it up with, industry specific keywords, fill it up with, industry specific, you just basically create your own hashtags. So create your own hashtags and use industry specific hashtags to actually promote your business. Make sure that you are consistent. Okay, just go get online, make sure that the name you use on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, make sure they are the same names or the same handles. And that way people can actually, recognize your brand or your business, on whatever platform they actually go onto. So you need to actually, it is very, very important. I mean, I don't know what business you want to do now that you won't need to create a Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, even Telegram, Facebook, these, social media platforms are very, very critical. I mean, Instagram, because you can post pictures, you can post stuff. Twitter, because you can join conversations. So BTDT Hub in the last couple of, Big Brother Nigeria, we find a way to actually, join the conversation. I mean, it's not a must that we do that on a daily or a weekly basis, but once in a while, we try to join the conversation. So which of the housemates is career oriented? Which of the housemates talks about personal and professional, development? So we try to link, conversations so that we are not, left behind. Football, fashion, entertainment, these are different conversations that you can join on social media and that would attract people to you and to your brands on social media.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Dipo. Thank you. This is the last question we're going to take for this session. Obi, please do the honors. What is the difference between registering a business and registering a business name? Also, is the process for registering a charitable organization different?
Yes, all three of them are different. I assume by saying registering a business and a business name, you actually wanted to say a business name and a limited liability company. I'm assuming that's what you mean, because that's what would actually make sense. A business name is different from a limited liability company, because your limited liability company, you would have directors, shareholders, all that kind of, big stuff. But with your business name, you can start off your business just with you as the sole owner of your business. You don't need directors or company secretary and all of that, which is why a lot of small businesses find it easier. And then you get a tax break for a year. You won't pay tax for a year. You don't have to file your taxes for a year. It's the tax break. So that's the most popular difference between the two of them. And as for a company, sorry, what was the third one you asked about?
What
a charitable organization,
is the process
right?
different for a charitable organization? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. A charitable organization is a company limited by guarantee. So that's completely different. That will be registered under Part C. So all three of them are different, which is why I said you would need to consult with a lawyer. It doesn't have to be an expensive law firm, but you would need to consult with a lawyer or go to the CAC website and actually read through everything to decide what category your business actually falls under.
Okay, thank you so much, Obi. Thank you, Dr. Dipo. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, the Union Bank team. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Sorry that we couldn't take all the questions, but we'll try to answer them as we go. For further information or inquiries, please feel free to reach out to us through any of the channels currently showing on your screen. We'll be pleased to attend to all your inquiries. Thank you once again for joining us today. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, Dipo.
Bye, Obi. Yeah, bye.